Oh my gosh. Hello, we're live. Hello. How long have we been live?
Just a
My
second.
live says 53 seconds, but I think that's right. I just hit the go live button. Anyways,
Okay.
technology.
What's up?
I'm that Kimberly today. I'm here with my co-host and friend Trisha. Say hello, Trisha.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about having a little less stress, negativity going into your workday or into your next meeting, and how you can do that. Trisha's gonna, I'm blessed to have a wise person in the realms of chakras, and so teach me some, and all of us, about chakras, and maybe we're going to hopefully be able to do another great technique that I learned when I was in the on emergency detention adult timeout that I learned, a couple months ago. So I appreciate wherever you guys are from, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. Thank you very much. If you want to watch this on the replay, you can go here and pick where you want to watch it. If you want to be a guest, email me, Kimberly at marketingdoer.com, to set up us talking about being a guest. But if any of this helps you in any way, or it would help a friend, with your friend, and tell us in the comments below if it helped and what you in these moments of heightened panic or stress, so that you don't take that into next meeting. So without further ado, and I have to also, last but not least, this is not medical advice. See my plug? Did you like
I
that?
didn't know you had
Not
that one today. Yeah.
not advice, people. This is just two friends sharing and talking about things that you can do who are in that moment of anxiety that I have been in, that Trisha's been in. Let's jump into this conversation. Trisha, where do you want to start?
You can throw a graphic up and we'll just get started right off
Okay.
with the chakra system, which actually evolves. We're not going to get too much into the originality here of back in India, thousands and thousands of years ago, is actually where the system kind of
Okay.
comes from. And the word chakra
Okay.
is, think of wheel, think of cycle, think of a constant movement. So
Yeah.
these are pretty much the energy systems of the human body. And as I was sharing with you earlier, through years of my mother's terminal medical diagnosis, through injuries of my own, through having no medical care in this, pandemic time when all the hospitals were shut down. And I have been into self-healing and help healing others for years. And this is the system, in essence, from a lot of the, we'll call it new age, but a lot of the therapies involving.
It's ancient age. I don't
It's
like to call it new
ancient.
age.
I
I
know.
like to say this is science, whether it's Asian science, whatever. I'm bad with continents. I failed geography when I was a kid, so I'm also 80. But this has definitely been around a long time, and we're just now starting to talk in the workplace. That's
I
becoming,
think
you
some more,
becoming more comfortable too, I
well,
think.
more mainstream. And it's just,
There
again,
we
to
go.
me, it's an easier way of understanding your physical body versus taking an anatomy or a biology class. So
Which
again,
I failed as well.
right. This is about, and all we've been trying to do here, again, is just give these tools of a better understanding of self.
Yes,
All of
yes.
this is about self-care, taking care of ourselves, and how do we better understand ourselves and what's happening in that mind, body, spiritual connection. So
Let's start with naming the chakras then, real fast. The lower
that's right.
bottom.
There are 7 chakra centers in the body that
Okay.
we're going to talk about today. Other philosophy, schools of thought, sciences, there's multiple chakras, but the 7 that we've all kind of agreed on that we're going to use today. Um,
Wait, I want to throw up the other slide. Sorry. Go. Here we go. Here we go.
There you
Okay.
go. That one's maybe a little bit easier to read.
Yeah.
So the 7 chakras, so you start at the very bottom, which is your root chakra. And that's when we've been starting with, even in these conversations. Your root
Hmm.
chakra is all about grounding, all about coming into self. And
Okay.
again, there are systems in your body, your biological systems, your circulatory systems, the breathing, that all kind of attunes to one of these energy centers. So you can go online, simply Google the word chakra, and learn more than you'll ever want to know. But kind of for
Yes.
our conversation, we're talking about the area at the bottom of your spine. We're talking about your
Okay.
legs. We're talking about the base,
Tailbone.
physical body. Correct.
Okay.
When you move up, and again, this is where, in a sense of more of that mind-body connection, your safety, your security, your basic trust lives in this area. So again, more putting this with mind, body, science, medicine, a lot of times you can go back when I'm saying these issues and emotions live in your tissues. When you have sciatica issues, when you're having knee pain, when you're having chronic issues that aren't seeming to go away with regular modalities per se, you start thinking like, what else do I need to know about myself? When you start diving into the energy that lives in these spaces, that idea if you're unemployed, if you are moving, if you've had a debt, anything that's
safety and security, it covers a lot.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That will uproot you in a way that then that center of your body, that wheel, that cycle isn't necessarily balanced with the others. So there's no, you're never going to get a fully balanced system. There's not some way that you clean up these. This is also, and again, I am a Reiki.
Yes, you're a Reiki, but this is an everyday practice too. Like this is where you just like mental health, everyday practice.
You can put your hands on your body just to learn these places. So you would literally put your, hands all the way down to the, even on your back or to the base of your body, on your legs.
I'm doing that now.
Ground, understanding what part of the body we're talking about. Then you move up to your sacral chakra. And this is that place of intimacy, feelings, pleasure, sexuality. A lot of women who have had, again, sexual assault, who have had just different issues that, again, energy will stagnate in this area. They find later in life with the, fibroids, with the endometriosis, all different things that, again, you may take back to issues that are unresolved. Your solar plexus is above your belly button. That I like to think of kind of like your sunshine. That's where your sunshine Care Bear energy. Think about it. Remember energy. The Care Bear stare, baby. Think of this literally a sunshine bear. That's what these were. They were chakra bears. They really were. The emotions, the mind, body, so again, my favorite Care Bear is Sunshine Bear. And that whole idea is expressing yourself and getting your sunshine out into the world, right?
Yeah. Caring is sharing.
That's
sharing is caring.
And then our fourth chakra is our heart chakra. And that's the harmony, the love, the healing space. And above that, your throat chakra, which is fairly self-explanatory. That's our expressions, our ideas, our life focus. So you're understanding where when you are in a real nice balanced state, you are able to feel safe and secure. You have a nice intimate relationship. You have that power to really express yourself. These are the kinds of things that you're seeing like, oh, I just feel like a really balanced person. To me, it makes sense. All these areas are balanced. I know yoga poses go with each one of these to help open up or to less restrict a certain area of your body. Were you going to ask?
Well, just even talking about what we were talking about earlier, which we'll get to, but when you read off, and we're going to talk about that here right after we hit the last two chakras, but the throat and my throat chakra and where I feel the most anxiety and stress when I start getting this was quite eye-opening. So, I think that just spoke so much. But so the last two is the third eye.
And your third eye is right here in the center of your head. That is kind of your awareness, your vision, your clairvoyance.
Your sixth sense.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then your crown chakra, that's the spirituality, that's the peace, that's kind of connection to the higher power. So if you want to think of it as like the light coming into the crown, the light from God or whatever your spiritual power, energy, that's your crown chakra. So that energy is coming in from outside, right?
That's why we need sunlight the first thing in the morning.
Well, that's sunlight to all. That's exactly right. And so you're breathing in the energy from above, from the spirit, from the universe. And again, that helps to clear your intuition out into the world, right? Into that space. And then you're dropping down into your throat chakra, your ability to express. And everybody, when you can let God talk instead of yourself, or you can really get into it. When people say that God wrote the book, not me, or, and that we're saying God, but we're just meaning a power that's beyond yourself.
Yeah. Higher power. And gives me a whole to know that a higher power's got it and I don't have to worry about it.
Well, right.
So
And our heart chakra is where it meets, because now on the other side, from the root chakra, is think of
mhm,
planting your feet on the earth, right? And you're
as I'm putting
pulling
them
in the
down.
energy from the earth. So you're
Yeah.
coming up through your root chakra. You're getting, not until you feel that safety, security, trust, can you open yourself up to be intimate, to
Yeah.
find that pleasure, to be, even think of it in a relationship with a
Yeah.
person and how it kind
Yeah.
of evolves. You have to
Yeah.
have that safety and security from, we'll call it from the earth, from whatever you find the most supporting. It's coming up through that. Then again, your expression of that love back out into the world, and it's meeting at your heart chakra again, where is the true
So
balance per se. So
yeah.
remember when we were talking to Dusty and he was talking about how there's actual scientific studies that that
Mhm.
vibration, your energetic vibrational field
Around
around
your
your heart is actually much larger than the one around your brain. So, and
yeah.
again, these are recent studies. We all know we have an aura, we have an energy that gets
Mhm.
expanded, we have, but that, those pheromones, that attraction, that
That
law
six
of attraction, it's your
yeah.
heart. It really,
Yeah.
that it's that heart space that isn't
Mhm.
always healed, that isn't always balanced, that isn't always, but that is the energy connection really where two people are meeting
Yeah.
and
That I
coming
feel
together.
when you that's why when you're when you're jiving or not jiving, either you that's why you don't jive or you do jive when because something along these chakras you're feeling from that other person, both good and bad. So when I'm jiving with someone, just it's vibing, jiving, whatever, it's a good feeling, and so you go with it, and you go. But whenever I'm butting up against someone, I know that it's typically going on in my life. If I'm not in a good mood, if
Well,
I'm feeling
that's right.
stressed.
Well, and there's
So
like the good, these are, if you met, I mean, the balance of it's all a very personal, doesn't necessarily have to do with the other person,
yeah.
because even that same connection can be that trauma bond, can
Yeah.
be that your broken heart chakra, I won't say broken, but your unbalanced chakras are
my
meeting
sad my sag from being broken up.
right,
Yes.
and the balance, that's what this is all. A balance is all that we're all looking for in anything. This is about the responsibility of balancing yourself and kind of better understanding. So we can talk more about, like, before we got on here, and I just said to you, hey, like randomly, if I were just to ask you, so we'll do it right now. So I just
Yeah.
said to you randomly,
Because we're going to call these mental health check-ins with your team, because you should be doing when this is how you lead, Trisha, and I want better leading at doing this, where I do feel my empathy sonar is on all the time, and I can put myself in other people's shoes, and I can meet them where they're. But like when you're leading people and you have to check in with them to find out, are they bound, like what's going on in their life,
yeah.
because life is always happening. So
Well, and again, and what we're finding too is so much of what you've been doing, this chakra system doesn't change. And you understanding it now just gives you another tool that
yes.
maybe you'll want to go look a little bit more into. Hey, like, what more does this mean? Because we'll say, I was saying to you, so Kimberly, tell me what happens like in your
Oh,
physical body, like in
when
the
I get
last few months,
anxious.
there's something when,
Yeah.
or even something chronic that you're carrying around with you. Where is your chronic pain
In the
living?
lower, right here, when I'm feeling a panic on, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm gonna get teary-eyed because I'm anxious and angry or upset. Like I feel this knot in my back, right here where my skull, my neck, and you said it was my throat, or I guess, yeah, it is where
Yeah.
my neck and throat, everything. So I get it tied up, and it becomes like this ache and this pain, and that just I can feel it. I feel it just like just closing in like that, and it to where if I sit like this is the only way, or I put my head down, and it because it stretches it and will make it feel better. So that's what starts to come out before anything else.
And when I simply said to or said to Kimberly, okay, like we're going to go to the charts just so we can get this all right. I'm just simply reading it to her. And it's like, and in that area, the energy that lives there, the main focus of that chakra is self-expression and life purpose.
Yeah.
So, right. And it's, think of the color blue.
Communication. I love this diagram, because under the throat chakra it says I talk, and then it has communication and creativity. So when my communication and my creativity is stifled,
Yes.
which my communication had been stifled for a long time with some now trauma in my childhood from my stepmonster was always we were not supposed to communicate bad. We were not supposed to talk about the bad things he did or said. We didn't agree with it. So I was always taught to not communicate in that way. But now I'm the total opposite. Me to heal, I have to communicate with people. I have to communicate how I'm thinking and I'm feeling. If I've hurt your feelings, if I've done something, I want to communicate how sorry I am and how I feel, and I want to hear what's going on with you and whether you accept that and how you feel and how I can make it better. What can I do better? And if I can't, then we're going to agree to disagree, and it's going to be an impasse. But that's I want to talk about it, right?
Well, that's exactly right. I can't see these quite as well as you, but the energy that lives in, will you read all of these as well? Because the energy that lives inside that kind of center, it really does as well. Like you said, so say that your pain is the sciatica, say that your pain is more down in that grounding area. So your energy, your stability.
Your root chakra underneath that, it over here to the right. It's
your affirmation.
Energy and stability.
So when you see the I am, that is when your affirmations to yourself to help balance that chakra would be, I am strong, I am safe, I am. So this is where those emotions, the I am emotions, who you are, your identity, your realness. If you're walking around in a world and you're faking everything and you're lying and you are not a balanced, grounded person, and that part of your body knows it. So that is where I am, who you are.
And then the sacral chakra, which I'm not even going to mangle these words over here to the left.
Those are kind of the original. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to try. But you can see it there. I if you think I need to increase it more, but I don't want to totally get off the screen. But we have the sacral chakra, which is I feel, and that's the the sensuality and pleasure sensor.
That's right.
Chakra.
That's to feel your joy, to feel accepted, to feel. So a lot of the emotions, if you have a lot of unexpressed emotions and how you feel about a situation, you might find a lot of stagnant, and that's kind of below your belly button, but kind of before your pubic line.
Okay. And then we have the solar plex chakra, which is the I do and strength and determination.
That's right. And that's kind of identifying with what you put out into the world, right? Your strength and determination and sharing.
Yeah. Okay. And then you have the heart chakra, which is I love and sincerity.
And that's right. And that's, again, pretty self-explanatory. The things, the joy, not only who you love, but what you truly love. Do you love to play the guitar? Do you love to paint? Do you love, that's also when I say everything meets at the heart chakra, that's your authenticity. That is, again, you just meet people that walk into a room or just bring the presence of, and they don't have to do anything. These are also, when the more balanced an entire system is, that's the person that balances other people. Yeah, right? Yeah, just the one that's knowledgeable of it.
Yeah.
So now you
have the throat chakra. I talk, and I was told that I talk too much, or that I talk too fast, or I'm ADD. I've been diagnosed. I wasn't diagnosed until much later in life, and apparently the psychiatrist I went to get my brain scanned, that told me that I was not bipolar and not have Alzheimer's, was like, why were you diagnosed so late with ADD? It's all over your brain. Yeah, but it wasn't in my, we didn't believe in going to psychiatrists. You just didn't do that. And I felt like if I had to ask for help to go to college to study, that me go. That probably wasn't true. I was just a stupid negative thought in my brain. But I always wanted to talk. I communicated. I wanted to learn. I wanted to find out. And communication and creativity, that's where I live. It's my heart. I love to learn. I love new people. I love to learn about new things, and create and collaborate is definitely, it's all about my throat chakra.
And it's your right to express. That's what we were talking about as well.
There we go.
And you did not feel the freedom to truly express
never
to express. So it does make sense that you're going to have some stagnant energy in that area, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's not that my I talk too much, when I'm at a conference or something, or I've been doing back-to-back meetings, I do have a scratchy, or I am, trying to clear my throat. So I kind of get that. But the fact that that's where my tension is up, especially when I get pissed.
Well, and you've even said too,
Very,
and when I would ask you, like, what makes you feel better, one of the first things you would ever do was like, no, to move the
yes.
energy out of your
Mhm.
neck. And then it's like, and remember, like down into your shoulders and up into like really what's before and what's after the pain is just as important, right? So
Yes. Yeah.
the muscles up
100%.
above and kind of down
100.
below, but working
Yeah.
into like the real positive qualities when you are being your most expressive, communicative, creative person. Again, that truth, purpose, expression, artistry, service, synchronicity, and communication. Like
Wow.
that is that area that you need your authenticity, right? And really,
Hmm.
and I know it's what you're actively doing, but our bodies have stored a lifetime. So it's again, I think this is that mind body connection sometimes where it's like, wow, most all of Kimberly's energy is in the eye talk, in the throat, in the
Hmm.
podcasting, you are
Yeah.
healing this area of
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
But
I
your
am.
physical body knows, I know I keep kind of saying that our bodies are so different than our minds, but yet it's
Mhm.
all one. You know what I mean?
Connected. Yeah. It's all
And it's
connected.
not until
Yeah.
we get it really connected that we start to understand that you listen to your body, not even necessarily by continuing to be expressive and put it out into the world, but sometimes it's to now not speak. Now
Yeah.
it's to do the physical
Sits
work of like
work.
strengthening your shoulders a little bit,
Yeah.
doing
And
really
going and
painful.
when I go for walks in the morning, I don't talk to anybody, or I do sit still and do meditation or prayer. It is, or even like for the, just for just for the sake of time, the last two chakras, the third eye, listening to that because the third eye is I see, intuition and lucid. I can't say that word. Say
But
the
you
word for
can't
me.
really be talking for that to
Mhm.
come in, right?
Right.
So in
Yeah.
some of those ways, like all the expression that you've done the work, I said the synchronicity that I thought was so beautiful is even what you had said last week. Again, one of your affirmations that you use all the time was
Hmm.
God will go before me and open the doors. So again, when we're reading into some of the healing meditations for the throat chakra, my life is guided by divine synchronicity. Like, and that is something that you know to be true,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You have
Absolutely.
already, even in your therapy, even with ADD, from medicine and from science, they've given you kind of some reasons to do these, roll your neck, Kimberly, or do. But when we don't know why we're doing it or what
Hmm.
it's really connected to, that's where I think with the chakras, with the energy medicine. So if you Reiki, and even with yourself, you can take your two hands and scan your own body. If you really will lay down in silence, your body will tell you where shit comes up, what
Yeah.
hurts, what's
Yeah.
gurgling, what's and cracking. Everybody cracks. We all crack. We have to stop getting scared of our cracks, right? That just means you need to move more. You need to move
Yeah.
more when you're cracking.
Yeah.
But really,
Yeah.
and we were saying even at work, and we're hoping that there'll be more environments where people can really find 5, 10, 15 minutes of just, when we say disconnect, just simply sit and breathe. You can think of these beautiful colors of the rainbow. I sometimes sit and think that my chakras are just, they're spinning clockwise. They're nicely slowly. And you can do your affirmations. I am, I feel, I do, I love, I
Mhm.
talk, I see, I
The
understand.
last one, I understand the crown, your crown chakra.
And that
Yeah.
really is, but that's being able to let it in. That's being
Okay.
able to know that more the universe energy out there, we don't know it all. We can't outthink it. We can't
Yeah.
plan it all out. We can't, again, this is really a release, grounding. We just now will go back to starting all over. We'll go back to grounding, go back to the um,
Mental check-ins. We
mental.
need to be checked. We need to be, if as leaders, if we're not using some sort of technique, whether it's or taking a leadership class like with EQ IQ, to become a better, a wholehearted leader, to learn that empathy if you don't have it, which that's kind of hard to learn it. You kind of have to have
I mean,
that. You
right. But it's not even about learning empathy. It's almost about what people emulate empathy.
correct.
So
Yeah.
all of us
Yeah.
empaths that are out there just keep doing what you're doing, and then the bad guys will fake it just to,
Yeah.
so at least we
It
got,
will work.
that's right.
but but it is really really important. I feel that if I had what I know now, when I was having the panic attack or going, the first time I went to emergency detention and the second time, which were two totally different scenarios, but stemmed from a past trauma that and added stacked those on top of it, with stacked stress and anxiety of caring for my mom on top of all my past traumas. It's a new world for me. It's an uncharted that life is happening while I'm having to bring home the bacon, right? I can't imagine, it happened to me in my work environment. Like, thank God I had people to lift me up. But if I had paid more attention to my mental health when it was happening, because I'd eaten, I'd taken my supplements, everything. Yeah, I'd done everything except for one thing, no, two things. And if I had been paying to my chakras and trying to ground myself, I don't think I would have passed out in the shower. So I feel that it's important that we're talking about this, because I was at a conference. I can only imagine if I was being paid to be, I mean, I was being paid, but in it, like, it was a trade I was doing for a client with social media, but I was still like I had been like, what if I had they weren't understanding? What if my client, because they were understanding, but the what ifs, I could have been fired. I could have been sent home. I mean, I was put in the hospital. So, but if I had had more tools, all the tools I have now, didn't have back then, because I didn't know that I needed them.
Nobody was giving you permission, though, to figure out you. Like, I think all of these tools really, and I've just had such a blessing over the last few years as well. Like, sometimes when things get really bad, it's just you. It's just you to figure out you. And I think more than anything with this grounding, it's great. Like, when you are having a panic or an anxiety attack, to remember a breathing technique or to know something, but really to take the time. I think we all have to do it after COVID, after we're all just running on these hamster wheels of doing what everybody else thinks. I mean, who is Kimberly? Who is Trisha? What are my boundaries? What are what grounds me will never unground me again. Like, I was I was just going with what needed to be done, making the money that needed to be made, doing and we're all just the doing.
But you said it really, that all it was unground, you're never going to do it again, because you took the time, self-aware, that you jumped into your self-healing. I commend you for going down that to teach yourself, becoming a Reiki master.
I was but it was in a medical situation in which medicine, the doctors, the people, I just felt so self-responsible. I was also watching my mother die, and I really believed that she could have been more responsible for her own health than she was. And throughout all of that, so it has been almost a decade's journey of just knowing that I am responsible for my physical experience on this planet. And not until, and I'm not, I mean, again, I'm watching myself right now become so intentionally grounded. Yes. What is your question?
But as a leader, don't you're responsible for others?
Say that again, honey.
I said, as a leader, you also responsible for others. So now that you know what you know, let yourself become ungrounded, and you're going to help others to ground themselves. That's what I love about you so much.
We get to make our own rule. I mean, I think that it's like, I know that I am here in a really special, specific time. I've been trying to tout this, to anybody that would listen for a decade, come along with me. And it seemed a little too, but it seemed a little too woo-woo, or it seemed a little too, and it was never about anybody else. It had to be about me. And my struggle was always like, what I learned, I wanted somebody to know right now too, but it didn't necessarily. And all this is it's been a true, just deep dive into who I am. Like, well, I get to make the rules for myself. And after COVID, I believe we all feel more of that right now than we ever have. And the only way to understand yourself is to find systems that kind of easily explain it. My son was going to anatomy class. He had a coloring book, and I was like playing along with it, because it's like, I felt like I wanted to heal my mother. I wanted to heal myself. I want to heal the world. So let me learn all of these. But it's like, why can't these be numbered like 1, 2, 3, 4? Why don't we have 1,000 veins? Why do they all have names that we don't, you know what I mean? I couldn't explain any of it. I just couldn't retain it. So it's like
Yeah.
the systems to understand, but now I can get with somebody, and I don't proclaim to heal anybody. I haven't healed myself. It's there's no
Yeah.
stopping. It's just
Well, you're
growing and evolving and
yeah,
living.
learning and
Yes.
share what you learn, right? That is what this is all about. The fact that we're trying to share what we have learned in the, from my 2 stints in emergency detention / adult timeout, in a mental hospital, which is a super scary place to be in. And I could have easily been lost in that system. And I'm never going back to that system again, but I could have easily been arrested before I was even put into emergency detention. So that could have been much more worse, both times. And I feel very blessed and grateful. And I'm learning from it. I learned from it doing my mental. You're doing that same thing. I love that you're so open to having these conversations, teaching someone like me who's like, I hear about the chakras. I understand that circadian rhythm. I understand. I have seen the difference between not going out in the sunlight, not feeling the oxygen, fresh air. That's, for 2 weeks I was in a hospital that someone else dictated to go outside or not, right? Like that was, I felt so, restraining and bad and so much, animosity. Like it was ugly. I would never wish for somebody to do that again. So
Even for you now to go, I mean, when you go just research throat chakra in the next few days, it'll just be fun because there are foods, colors, sounds, affirmations. It just gives you all these things that all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, like the color blue. And again, just these things that you can surround yourself with, the things you can remind yourself of along the way, the yoga poses, the parts of your physical body that just want some love and kind of how to love them.
Yeah. And I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna dive in. Let's just do this real quick, quick grounding technique that I got to learn in the mental hospital. And it's called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Trisha, have you done this grounding technique before?
I have tried this one. Yes.
Okay. I like this one. I think I like it because I learned before I learned how to, right? So it was helpful. And because my ADD brain can't remember whether I'm supposed to be, it's 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. You're supposed to say those things out loud or look for those things. And because of ADD, I just know 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so it might not be in that order, but feel a panic attack coming on, I stop and I put my head down and I start going through 5 things I look up, 5 things I can see right now, 5 things. I usually start with the 5 things I can feel, because if I can start feeling it or hearing it, then it puts I stay in that moment, because for me, anxiety is when I think too much in the future, or I regret about things in the past, and I haven't let shit go. So for me, my bubbles up in so many different ways, and I'm still healing through therapy, but this helps me know this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique helps me when I need to, like, it'd be great at work, right? Like so that you don't I wish I'd known this, so I take my bad attitude into the next meeting or onto the next day or onto the next person.
Yeah. When I think even counting, if you, like you kept saying, you might even be just doing in your head the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because you are in control of that. That's the reminding that, like, kind of what my physical body's saying, my brain needs to remind my physical body it is okay. So by doing that, it's the same thing we were talking, all these grounding techniques. The box breathing was the breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4. And like while you're, in the worst of the worst, it's great to remember these things. But like you and I were saying, breathing is something that it just seems so freaking simple. And everybody's talking about breath work, and you can go get certificates in being a breath worker. But it really is that
it's
important,
hard
because we're not breathing right. And again, it's you're not getting enough oxygen to certain parts of your body. Your heart is thinking that you're always distressed. So I think, if nothing else, if you give it 60 seconds, if you give it 5 minutes in a day, and what you're breathing right, you're consciously, it's much easier as possible. All you're doing for those moments is breathing. We have become so addicted to freaking doing and being so productive and being so I mean, just breathing is life. That is God. That is the heart. That is all the chakras.
Yeah.
When you are saying to yourself, I'm controlling the breathing of this body, the breathing of this body isn't controlling me. The heart rate feels like it's controlling you. The thoughts feel like they're controlling you. Grounding is that remembering that you are a physical, tangible, lovable, perfect, fabulous, being as authentically you as you can be. And until you can really get through that, there is no. Energy is always coming in. The energy is always coming up through the ground. It's our job to balance ourselves and just understanding.
Our job. It's our job.
It's self-care.
If we can't self-care, if we can't take ourselves, then we can't take care of anyone else.
That's
like
exactly
that is, you got to take care of yourself. You got to give yourself the medicine first, so then turn around and give someone else medicine or give someone else what they need. So it is super important.
That's what we need to learn. Those of us out there wanting to pretend like we can teach it. I mean, those are the ones that are, living.
I'm super grateful that you're open to teaching, because I know I got a lot. I can tell you that naps are huge for me.
Yep.
Naps are huge, but moment, these breathing techniques that you've taught me and these that I've learned, this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 ADD brain, and because I have mood disruptive disorder, that it just volcano almost about to explode. If I don't control that, when I am faced someone who treats me like my step monster, because that's where this is all accumulated and come from, that I put the trauma that I have from him in a box so long ago, and I ignored it and I didn't face it until COVID, that this came out. It came out during COVID. It came out. It's come out in my relationships. It's come out. It came out at TAA because of anxiety about moving away.
Were so ungrounded and didn't have the boundaries that he was even able. So it's a lifetime. It's a 49-year-old body. I say this all the time. We don't have to live it in our brain. We can let all the past go, but we have to remember that our body was there for all of it. Every freaking thing that happened, right? And it lived in there some way or another.
Yeah. And I love that Esther Hicks, I heard this on one of her podcasts, beliefs are only thoughts that we just keep thinking. And I mean, I have it written so that I can change my thoughts, because I don't negative towards anyone at all, not even him. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry he's dying from the inside out and alone. I feel sorry that his children don't want to come see him. I feel sorry that my mother's circle of friends have avoided and not him, and they're still circling her. Like I feel sorry for him, but that is my in love with that person. So that in itself has its own trauma that I'm working. So I have these buckets, I know, because of the emergency timeout, because life happened to me at this conference and happened during COVID to me at the beginning, when the first travel advisory was lifted, it happened to me, and I have to face it. I can't be ashamed of it. And I appreciate you for taking the journey with me to talk about these things, because if you and I,
any of us, did you say to anybody in 3 months, I'm going to go pass out in the shower and make a little, you had no idea. You had no idea of how little you were taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
You had no, but that was such a God wink to you. There was no, Kimberly, you're supposed to now go, instead of just being the, a train engine that you were, do more, do. No. And because you were willing to be so authentic, you're almost a public service announcement for it can all be perfect and great. And all of a sudden you can pass out in the shower and pretend people can think you're sick or think you're, what's the difference? And how many times I've been to many of these, and they'll know who they are if they listen, been with guys whose backs go out. When their back goes out and they can't leave the hotel room, and everybody.
I know somebody. I know somebody who was nice to tell me a story about how his back went out.
God bless him. Love him with all my heart. He's one of my favorite. I know, and I actually know another one. A few, and these men, it's like, and women,
it's happened to women. Women are not as, their egos and pride are not as, when they know. We're better at saying, okay, sorry, but this pain is too much.
The same has happened to you, though. The same thing happened, but it's just how people accept it or what looks to be a physical injury. Could it have been a soccer injury? Could it have been just something? No, it is stress. It was all of the same thing happening that, again, however, our bodies kind of clinch up on us and just simply say, no, you have to stay in this spot right now. There should be no stigma if it's your back pulling up or your brain pulling up. That's all that's happening. My brain female, and it just coincides then with more of the hysteria and more of the mental health and more of this is why I say, even with the men or with any not to ungender it, and all of us, let's all talk about, like men can even be angry. Men can be just so pissed off, they don't even show up. When in fact, they were probably having a panic or anxiety attack. And they were just much more willing to.
And we just didn't know. And we didn't know what we label it different things. We know, just, label it the same way that when a woman is aggressive in business, she's a BITCA. When a man is, he's the man, he's the stud, he's the man getting it done. Like we just label him differently. And unfortunately
the new world won't be that way. I mean, it is what we've come from. It is what they, but in our
it's not going to be the same.
It won't be.
I'm making sure I'm about this for a reason.
Not that way anymore.
I don't want my nieces and my nephews, anybody's kids that I know have ever met and shooken their hand and them interacted with me. I want them to know that that's not cool to ignore how you feel, and it's okay to not be okay. But we need to start talking about place. We need to start having tools and resources, like you and that we can lean on while we're there. I'm going to throw this up because sake of time, we're already, time limit, but tell us how people can connect with you if they want to learn more about Divinity Cafe and your chakras and your Reiki mastering.
DivinityCafe.com. I've just created a place to try to make the world a little bit more self-healing, I guess. I just want to talk. I just want to meet people. No cost, no obligation. This is not an ad. Divinity Cafe, Trisha and
I don't have it on there, but I have all your social media and your email on there.
It's simply Google Trisha and call me, email me. I'm the only one.
I'm using your hashtag. So not only are you the only one out there, but I'm hashtagging your name.
And I just need to get some social media going and really get this.
We're getting there. Yes, we are. So I appreciate it. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I am super excited that I will some guests come on in September. Next month, I'm not quite sure. It might be solo. I might not. Trisha is out in her life, in her big move. I will be super excited to hear about that when she on, but on the 30th, yes, 2 weeks. On the 30th, I am mental health in the workplace with Lizzie Daniels. Yes, Lissi. Lizzie Daniels. I had a great conversation with the other day. I got to physically meet. She presented at our board meetings 2 weeks ago. So all you Texas fans, you want to tune in because she's definitely it's going to be an interesting conversation. I'm super excited that she's willing to go down that path, and we're going to her story with us. So join us. It'll be at 12:30, and we'll hope to have Poncho and Diana on soon as well. Poncho's lining up some guests, but until if you want to be a guest, I'm going to throw up a little plug because why not? We'll go out in a 45-minute manner. If you want to be a guest, you just email me here. If you want to watch any of our past episodes, see the ticker below. If you go to Google and you put in #ThatKimberly or #industry, you will find all the places and all the old videos of ThatKimberly and Industry Live, people. And again, if you want to get learn more about Trisha or connect with her, I highly recommend it. She is fabulous. And until 2 weeks, we will see you guys next Wednesday. See you in 2 weeks, Trisha.
Bye, babe.
Bye, y'all.